The meaning of your time is to create time to exist. In this way, we will continue our interaction with the reminder that when we discuss with you any ideas, when you allow yourself to fathom and interact and perceive any ideas, whether they be in the form of a statement to yourself, a conviction of yourself, or a question from yourself in that way, allow yourself to remember that because you have, for tens of thousands of years, formed the idea of separation many times when you are dealing, as you say, with a certain idea, a certain aspect, a certain question in your life, the separation you are used to may allow you to look at one way to deal with it, two, maybe three ways to deal with it. But allow yourself to remember that all we have ever discussed is applicable. All we have ever shared with you is applicable to each and every situation. For every situation has many facets. And you may discover for yourself, if you are willing to remember and put together as a total concept every single point of view and direction that we have been allowed by you to approach a situation within our dialogues with you, you will then not restrict yourself to simply one way to look at it, two ways, three ways, four ways, but will give yourself, through the conviction and the usage and the willingness to allow your imagination its free rein, the ability to apply as many different points of view and approaches to every single situation you are willing to create in your life, so that you will not feel that there is any isolated pattern or process that is being kept hidden from you. Simply allow yourself, when you consider any particular idea, to remember all the different ideas we have discussed with you, so that you can apply them all at once in a blended fashion to the situation, so that the situation will touch and will allow itself to be touched by any one of those points of view that applies immediately to the situation you are creating. Are you following along?
Yes.
The idea simply is that when we communicate with you, we communicate on many different levels at once, whether you are conscious of it or not. Allow yourself the opportunity to recognize that no matter when we are discussing one of the things that we have discussed with you, we are at the same time simultaneously discussing all of the things we have ever discussed with you on all the different levels on which you have created yourself to exist. The only reason you do not perceive them all at once is because you create yourself to exist on all these different levels. So, it is upon levels that we create our interaction with you, so that you can receive them no matter in what form you have fractionated yourself. You follow me? Sure. You, then you.
In a few hours at about 4:46 in the morning, the moon will be full, and it's a Scorpio moon that is celebrated as being the focal point of the Rooftop Festival. And it is said that Buddha comes down into the physical for 6 or 8 minutes at this time. How do you perceive this event? How can you be served by it? And is there any significance in the fact that 3 minutes before the moon is full, at 4:43,
you will have an eclipse? Yes. Recognized in this way, the idea simply is that what you have established your lunar body to be is a representational symbol of your subconscious, of your unconscious knowingness. And therefore, when you draw attention to it in that way by allowing the shadow of your own planet to eclipse it, you are forming a more direct relationship to the idea of receiving energy from that symbol. It is only an extension of your own consciousness in another way, and you are simply allowing the idea of all that is contained within you unconsciously to rise to the surface, so it can be experienced in that way. This is why you also have the understanding in your so-called mythology of the idea of the full moon bringing out the craziness within you. For in that way, you have it within yourself to understand that the fullness of the moon will represent the fullness of your willingness to communicate with all those portions of yourself you have for so long buried so deeply within all the levels you have created. Therefore, what the implication from our point of view is that when you are making a conscious relationship with it, you are recognizing your own ability to bring to the surface all you have buried about your own godhood, your own Buddhahood, your own Christ consciousness nature. All those different ideas are brought to the surface for you to experience and create with as per your own imagination, as per your own belief system. You follow me? We'll have to clarify the idea.
That's perfect.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, I have two short topics that I'd like to discuss with you.
Oh, hi.
One of them has something to do, I heard a tape of maybe a week ago where somebody asked you about Darrell's channeling to the civilization in Bernard, Southeast?
Barnard, yes.
Bernard, okay. And I was wondering a couple of things about it. Darrell doesn't seem to be aware consciously that he's doing it.
Not of the specifics, no. In the same way, the physical channel is not aware of the specifics of the interaction that is going on with you right now.
Right, I understand.
In a general sense, there is awareness in that way, on whatever level there needs to be.
Now, analogously, to what extent are you aware as you go through your own life when it's insomnia or on your spaceship?
Of our communication with you?
Yes.
Completely.
You are, so you're much more aware of it than Darrell is of his communication.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
For that is the definition of our system.
That's what I thought. I just want to check. Just as a matter of interest, what do the people on that star call Darrell? The way we call him Bashar, what do they call him?
In this way, they do not have a differentiation for each individual, but they recognize all individuals that are channeling through individuals upon their system. In their language, they call it uweya. It is a process, uweya. All channeling in their system is called uweya. They do not differentiate identity.
So, from that point of view, they're closer to us Italians in that they don't label as much as we do.
In that sense, yes. Recognize, not to be meant as a denigration, but your particular system is one of the most highly focused in separation that we have encountered. Yes. It serves your purpose, and it serves many purposes. Do not take it as something that makes you less, for it is out of your own strength and self-empowerment that you have chosen to have the strength to be able to experience such a high degree of limitation. Follow me.
Yes. Do many of us have lives on that subject?
A few.
The second topic is, when you talked about the April event,
Yes.
you had said that it would involve other civilizations. Now, I gather the April event really was the attack on Libya.
In a sense, yes.
Did it involve other civilizations, and to what extent?
In a way that we will be discussing with you what you call the 28th, 29th, and 30th of this month. Put in that way, your 28th will be a 10, which will be 1. Your 29th will be 11, which is a 2, and your 30th a 3. 1, 2, 3, we will explain the idea of extraterrestrial relationship to all of the predictions that have ever been made about your civilization and what it is going through.
Thank you. The third topic is, again, with respect to Libya, it seems sort of a paradox that our attack on Libya was, well, without judging, was not what most of us would have preferred.
All right. That is why you have done it and brought it to the surface. As we have said, is your opportunity to bring what was previously covert blatantly to the surface so that you can determine for yourself, this is the time of making the decision. Do you want that to be representative of the world you are going to live in or not?
That's right. That's what I was going to bring up. It is, in a way, a paradox that we had to almost had to do that for us to be able to see where the choice is made.
That has been your way. You are not through with it yet, obviously.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you!
Bashar,
You! Then you!
Bashar, what happened to our dinosaurs?
In this way, first of all, recognize that in your terminology, strains of them have, in your term, evolved into many different fractions of animal consciousness that still exist upon your planet. Obviously, to your recognition, the idea of what you call some of the reptilian forms, also the birds, in that way, are offshoots of the dinosaur as you understand it. Your understanding of the meteoric cometary impact is basically correct.
So that was the destruction of the larger forms, the Tyrannosaurus, the Brontosaurus, was meteorite impact?
In this way, you will find that not only was there a grand climactic shift, but also, and more strongly felt, an electromagnetic shift.
Understood. Did we have civilizations coexisting with the dinosaurs at that period of time?
To some degree, though they are not directly linked to what you would perceive to be your immediate time frame linear evolution.
So in other words, the type of humanoid existence that we're familiar with now did not exist in third density form at that time, is that correct?
To some degree it did, but they do not represent the immediate connections to what you would consider to be your civilization.
Explain, please. I'm not quite comprehending.
Other manifestations off of your planet and from other dimensional experiences of your own planet in many different ways, in a sense what you might call proto-civilizations to your own, but not directly connected to your linear history, in a sense.
I see. So visits from other civilizations and dimensions. Okay, good. And what was the period of time and duration of the existence of the major dinosaurs?
Several 100 million years, as you count time.
Ago or duration?
Both.
Okay, very good. One other completely different subject. I'd like to share an experience that I had a couple of weeks ago of having an objective feeling of the universe being projected around me, including my own body, the planet. The first fully objective experience that I had. And
you mean subjective?
Yes, basically, but it was an actual feeling. It was tactile.
That is subjective.
Okay.
What you are experiencing now is objective.
Okay, good. In that terminology. I then went to enact a major shift in the projection and encountered some resistance. Could you help me understand that more in depth?
What type of a major shift?
I was attempting to change my relationships, my financial condition, my relationships condition.
How?
By projecting life the way I wanted it to exist, a certain type of environment.
Then did you proceed to act as if it already existed that way?
I didn't pull it off.
Then simply understand the rate at which you are pulling it off is exactly the rate that is serving you.
I understand.
When you allow yourself to view the way your life is unfolding with regard to that desire for the change, you will recognize that there are many elements within all the different scenarios and situations and relationships that are taking time that will enrich the idea of when you have the reality that you desire.
Tasty recipe.
Yes. You are adding ingredients. You follow me?
I do. Thank you.
Now, also understand that you are never going to reach a point where you will feel that you have done all you can imagine you ought to do. All right. Then in this way, recognize you don't have to watch so closely the idea of your progress. For you cannot, in taking a reading or a measurement anywhere along your lifeline, truly be able to measure how far you have come, nor how far you have to go. For in both directions, it is infinite. Thank you. One moment.
Yes, okay. Two things. Number one, I have a lot of changes going on in my life right now.
Of course.
One in particular, which is strong in my focus, is that I'm leaving the job. I'm choosing to leave a job that I've had for about 7 years.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you. I know I've been really comfortable there, and it's served me in that time.
Nice.
And now...
now you are a different idea.
Yes, and I also have a lot of fear coming up.
All right.
Choice, and so I'm...
what a wonderful opportunity
yes.
for you to experience trust.
Yes. Because in this job, it's gone so far, it's like there's no opportunity anymore in the job to experience faith because it's just so comfortable. I need to, like, have a little risk involved here.
If you say so.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Good. Good. I changed that idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
That is what trust is all about.
Good. I like that. Okay.
You will create excitement. You will create surprises.
Yes.
No risk.
Right. Good. Okay, that's good on that word. Okay. Now, also I found that when I, instead of when I get out of the idea of what this sphere is attached to, the pictures, and just get in touch with the emotion itself.
Right.
Then I find a lot of power and
Yes.
thrust in that.
Yes. Allow me to remind each and every one of you that every situation is fundamentally neutral. You give it the meaning, positive or negative. Every situation is fundamentally neutral. No situation has intrinsic meaning. It is only a circumstance. You provide the meaning based upon your point of view, your beliefs, your chosen attitudes. And that is what determines the type of reality you experience. You follow me?
Yes, I found that very interesting. That when I'm afraid of leaving this job, I get all these people at my job reflecting the idea of what a great job it is and how could I want to leave the situation and look at all the vacation time I have and stuff. And then when I feel really strong in the idea of leaving, then I get reflected back, people saying, great, that you're doing that and it's the perfect thing for you to leave. And, it's very interesting.
The analogy that we will have used recently of your time to simply clarify a point will be the recognition that you have upon your planet the idea you call a train. Yes? Mm-hmm. Individual will desire to be on a train at a certain time, will arrive at what you call your station, and will find that the train has left. Now, the situation is simply that the train has left, and the individual is not on it. It is neither good nor bad, positive or negative. Depending upon how the individual chooses to look at the situation will determine the manifestations they allow themselves to create in their lives. The individual who chooses the negative viewpoint will simply allow themselves to create an ulcer, worrying over the fact that they have missed their train. The individual who knows that they have missed the train for a reason may turn around and see a friend who has just gotten off the train they haven't seen in 10 years. And if they had gotten on the train, would not have met them. You follow me?
Oh, yes.
Every situation is fundamentally neutral.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, one moment. You are next.
One more thing. Okay. I had an experience with channeling over the weekend in my channeling class, and then afterwards I met with two other people in my class that night. It was Saturday night. I met with Lisa and Bruce. Okay. And they both assisted me with their entities, their channeling, also to work with my energy that I've been working with, that I call Sancha.
All right.
And,
Sancha.
Yeah. Do you have a
Continue.
segue? Okay, never mind. Then I'll get back to that if I feel like I want to. What I was feeling during this channeling was this energy that I used to feel when I was younger, and I felt at different times during the years. And I would notice I would stop that energy because it felt uncomfortable, or it felt almost like depression, or maybe the depression came from stopping the energy.
In a sense, from judging it.
Because it's just a different feeling.
All depression is meditation judged.
So when I felt this energy again, this time I just let it flow.
Right.
Yeah. I missed it. What happened? Something funny, and I missed it. I'll ask somebody later. Okay.
Simply the idea is that what you are calling depression is when you know you cannot find the answers outside yourself, you go to where you know they are, within. It is judged because your society tells you that if you are not strong enough to handle life, if you are antisocial by withdrawing, then that is a bad thing. It is a natural thing. and it only becomes negative when you judge it.
Right. Now, this energy that I'm feeling, is there any, can you tell me anything about it?
Sancha.
Oh. Okay, can you tell me anything more about Sancha? Anything that would be of assistance to me at this time?
Sancha, in our perception, is the fragment of your oversoul consciousness that represents your child energy and your future energy blended into one concept. Because when you were a child, you were very much like you are going to be when you are older.
Everyone is a child.
In general, yes, but you specifically. In the specific ways you allow yourself to perceive many different things outside of the normal limitation. You will experience and are experiencing those ideas again. Sancha is also the energy of your own motherhood to yourself. And it is connected to other lives you have had because you are making that connection in that way.
Yes.
It is a loving guide, a loving spirit. It is a representation of a portion of your oversoul that has been differentiated to allow you to relate to a certain portion of yourself that you now are willing to be comfortable with.
Okay. Yeah, because I've come up with that name for it. Last year I had an experience of an Indian named Sancha, a female Indian. And now I have a female future self, Sancha. Yeah, and I give it the same way.
You are still in many ways. And again, not in a limited way. Choosing, or shall I say, continuing to express portions of the agreement that you made with your twin. For that is an identical pattern that she has as well. An Indian past and a future self with the same name of Aiya. You follow me? Sancha, Aiya. It is a similar idea for the both of you. In your own terminologies, in your own ways.
And she's having certain open up communication with her. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Hi.
I have a question. I also have a few questions to ask you. First off, I have a cat, Cassandra, and around my cat runs around this young girl who's got anywhere from 6 to 10 years old, blonde hair, she's either drowned or she's been in a car accident. And I think her name is Cindy. Can you tell me a little bit about this girl that runs around my house, please?
You mean in spirit form?
Yes.
Our immediate perception, which we shall remind you, is only our perception. Reminding you that yours is just as valid. Is that the idea of that spirit energy, yourself, another individual who is male in our perception, and the cat, were together in one particular instance and formed a bond, formed a pact, formed an energy idea that decreed that by all the symbols that would represent reflection and transition, you would communicate with each other by drawing the other's attention to that symbol, in this case, the cat, which is a symbol in your animal kingdom of the portion of your consciousness that exists in third and fourth density simultaneously. As you are beginning to do by being able to perceive a fourth density entity. You follow me?
Yeah,
all right. Now, journeys. Our perception is that the basic symbology is of a child and the animal beckoning you to follow on a journey. A journey not only of your imagination, but perhaps of a physical nature as well. In the life wherein you made the pact, you were, in a sense, journeymen, travelers, merchants, nomads. And in this way, it is one of the symbols of beckoning to a journey not only within yourself, but within your world. One moment.
Okay.
All right, proceed. We will come back to this idea.
Okay. I want to know if these are kind of friends of yours, or if you know these creatures. I saw boysenberry person. I saw boysenberry person. The color of the boysenberry. And he was wearing a gas mask or something. He had like pink mask. He was in my garage. I'm curious if the boysenberry type fellows are friends of yours.
What type of feeling did the encounter give you?
I don't know, he just kind of popped in and popped out.
What kind of feeling?
I did not get a feeling from him.
You will, please, forgive me if I say I do not believe you. The feeling is there. Reach into your imagination and pull it out now.
Okay. I didn't like it. It scared me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, one more thing.
We are not done. Unless you choose to say we are.
Yeah, please.
All right. Now, why do you imagine that you created fear?
It startled me. I guess I didn't expect to see it.
All right. And then beyond that, what feelings did it generate?
Just kind of funny, I guess.
Maybe. Did it allow you to think about your life in a way differently than previously?
Yeah.
How so?
Because I love seeing these little things walking around, and I was just kind of wondering. It was a boysenberry. It was a new type of thing.
All right. You have been encountering these ideas for a lengthy period of time in your life?
Yeah.
For how long?
Oh,
Since
why?
early teens?
Sure.
You do not sound sure. Yes? No?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why are you guessing?
Well, yes, I haven't seen this thing for some time.
All right. Does the idea matter to you that you are seeing this?
It's fascinating.
Why?
Because I like seeing weird things flying around.
Weird.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, things that are not in our human form, color, shape.
All right. Why?
Why?
Yes, why? We are asking these questions for a reason. Understand, while you are pondering that, it is basically from the premise that there is no such thing in our point of view as idle curiosity. If you are acting, if you are creating those relationships, it is for a reason, and it is per an agreement you have made. We are, in this way, sharing with you an opportunity to explore the reasons for your own co-creation, while at the same time not simply providing you with past answers and living your life for you. Now, we are assuming that you are co-creating these encounters so that you can grow from the experience. In our point of view, growing from the experience is the degree of willingness you are ready to have to come to conscious recognition for why you are co-creating the experiences, rather than just simply saying, oh, well, I was just curious. There is no such thing as idle curiosity. It is there for a reason. So let us explore further if you are willing. Now, first of all, in our perception again, the idea of the berry being will be something from a past connection in another time track. A message delivered at an appropriate time from a past of your creation so that you could now initiate certain understandings, unlock certain ideas within yourself now that you are ready to hear them. That is why the encounter was brief. All that was necessary was for you, now that you are in the so-called future from when you made that projection, all that was necessary is to encounter the projection in the right place, in the right time, as you have done, so as to unlock those portions of your subconscious, of your past self, and bring them to the surface. Some of it is connected to some of the energy that has been described as Orion. Some of it. Do you wish to continue?
Yeah. I've also come across some other people. These, I don't know what sign, where they're from, but they're kind of red, clear red air, and they speak more like a high frequency.
Do they make you laugh?
Yeah.
A lot?
Yeah.
Our perception will be, for now, although all labels we are imposing are in a sense arbitrary, but real on their own terms, a civilization we have referred to a few times that we call the Dilla, whose primary export is laughter. Now, our perception of you is that you have come into this life choosing to function as a multifaceted crystal. And so, within each facet, you are giving yourself different reflections of all the connections you are making and have made to many different aspects of yourself that exist in many different realms and alternate dimensions of experience. You are drawing all of these together to form a well-roundedness for yourself, to give yourself the energy and the opportunity to know that you are drawing from all the different directions you need to do what it is you desire to do in this life. Are you doing what you desire to do?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Then in this way, simply recognize you have given yourself a very generalized theme in the sense of allowing many of your avenues or conduits of communication to many different aspects of yourself that has projected itself into all these different dimensions of experience, access to information on whatever level you need it so that you can simply draw from it nonchalantly as you need it to provide you with the opportunity to do what you desire to do. As you accelerate within what you are doing, you are simply becoming more consciously aware of all the conduits and connections you have formed. It is not so much that anything is so different, you are simply becoming aware of the mechanism you chose to create to come into this life with to allow you to do what you chose to do. It is like stripping away the cover and seeing the inner workings for the first time. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Will that suffice to have served you? All right.
Okay. My dad died about 17 years ago, and I wanted some answers from him about something that's going on now in my life.
Ask him.
How should I do my dreams?
Say, Dad, I am not being facetious. Understand that consciousness is always right here, right now. All time is now. You follow me? Mm-hmm. Therefore, portion, in a sense, aspects of his consciousness and your consciousness are always together, no matter what the definition of your physiological state of being. Use your own imagination. That is what it is for. It will provide you with the ideas you need to hear automatically. There is no need to wonder whether or not it is accurate. It is always valid. You only create validity for yourself. You cannot create anything but. So when you create the interaction in your imagination with the idea of the identity of that portion of the soul you call your father in that way, allow yourself to know that if you simply open up your feelings, the feelings are a valid representation of all the communication you need. But recognize this. Any being that has projected itself into the fourth density state of non-physicalness and is functioning as a spirit guide will only always lead you into conversations with yourself. You follow me? Mm-hmm. Therefore, communicate with that aspect of yourself that is the idea of your Father, and you will be communicating with Him. All right?
Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much.
Bashar.
Over here, then there.
two unrelated questions. The first one I've asked you before, but I figured a way to ask it differently.
Oh, all right. Maybe I have figured a way to answer it differently.
Right. That's what I'm hoping.
Hoping? That may not get us very far. Continue.
Hubbard claims that there was an event, a catastrophic event that occurred on this planet 75 million years ago. I've asked you whether, in your perception, it occurred. You said no. My question specifically is...
I did not say specifically, just no.
Well, okay.
In general, the idea is a conglomerate one for many different events of that nature, some of which are tied into that time frame, yes, but it covers far many more time frames and time scales than simply one event.
I agree with you, but did any of those events occur here on Earth?
Yes.
Approximately 75 million years ago.
In a sense, yes. And many other times as well.
Prior to that?
And after.
And since then?
Yes.
And on other planets?
Some.
Similar events?
Sort of.
Well, the event relates directly to the fractionating.
Yes, yes, it is.
Life form.
Yes.
Okay.
Therefore, obviously, others are involved. We simply say sort of because they do not have the same viewpoint nor experience of the idea.
But at least one or several of those events occurred on this planet.
Yes.
In physiological reality.
Yes.
Okay. The other question has to do with ethnosony.
Yes.
Do your bodies have genitals as ours do?
We have discussed this. Yes.
And you engage in sexual activity more or less as we do?
Yes.
For merely utilitarian to have babies, or for the pleasure of it?
For sharing.
Okay, the reason I ask that is because I have a memory
Yes.
of a civilization in which there were bodies that did not have genitals,
Yes.
but nevertheless participated in sexual activity, but it was merely a specific type of electrical energy that interchanged between the bodies.
There are civilizations like that.
You are aware of some of them, or one of them? Or?
One is the Sirius civilization in 6th density.
But they don't have physical form.
Not really, but in a sense they can project themselves in that way. They are quasi-planar and would be perceived by you as having a very ghost-like physical form.
I have a recollection of a civilization that had bodies that were sort of more like doll bodies, although
yes. There are some of that nature in a sense as well, but understand that what you are doing is creating the recollection according to what symbology will allow you to understand the concept.
Okay.
Thank you!
Yes, Bashar. I don't know, a few days or weeks or a couple of weeks ago, I guess, we had an explosion of a Titan missile. And I read that the explosion was linked to O-rings, faulty O-rings on that, as faulty O-rings were supposedly the source of the explosion of the shuttle. I'm wondering, what is the symbology of the O-ring in these two explosions?
The idea, as we had to some degree discussed before, that you will find yourselves to be comprised of components rather than viewing yourself as seamless and unbreakable. You follow me?
I understand.
It is the joining mechanism. And it is a joining mechanism that carries with it the symbol of eternity, a circle.
Oh, okay. All right, another couple of questions. Do people on your planet ever have occasion to cry?
No.
Okay. Did they do that in the past? In the historical past?
Yes.
Okay. Another question. What? Well, the difference is they transform into the different.
The idea is that when we recognize that the idea of sorrow is centering just as much as laughter is centering, but from a negative rather than a positive point of view, we recognize they were much the same idea. And so we preferred the laughter.
What about crying out of joy? You know what I mean?
It is much the same idea. And most of the joy in the sense, but it is also a releasing from things, in a sense, that you still consider to be somewhat negative.
One more question. I've had a tremendous attraction to the skies in the last couple of weeks. And the other night, I was looking at a craft that I believe was an Earth craft, and then at one instant, my attention was drawn, as though my name were called, although there was no sensation of a name being called, but the attraction of my attention was such that it was immediately to my left. I looked directly at another craft, which I believe was an Earth craft, at least in the form that I saw it, it was an Earth craft.
Was this what you call Sunday?
No, I believe it was Tuesday.
All right, continue.
And I do know that my attraction to the skies does relate to other civilizations and communication energies coming to me from that.
All right.
I don't have a real specific sense of that. This is just a general statement on this.
Yes.
But I'm wondering, with this experience of my attention being attracted to an Earth craft, and it was quite specific, was I thinking that I was seeing an Earth craft when I was in fact seeing another craft, an extraterrestrial craft?
Not so specifically. Our perception of what you are doing is beginning to open doorways that can allow you to begin to change your perceptions and begin to recognize what physical symbols in your reality may be able to become, may have connections to, in other dimensions of experience.
Okay. I understand.
What you would call a stand-in. For an idea you are preparing yourself to see more literally later. You are practicing with something familiar. Follow me.
I certainly do.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good.
I wanted to ask you about the idea of understanding exactly how everything fits together in our lives at this level of our consciousness.
You mean trust?
You mean those two words are interchangeable?
Yes.
So is it really necessary for us to understand what is going on?
It does not have to be what you call an intellectual understanding. No.
Right, because it seems to me that it's quite beyond the conscious level that we're at now.
Parts of it can become conscious if that serves the purpose of the path you trust yourself to be. They will be there as you need them to be there automatically. But not everything needs to translate into that conscious level for you to allow it to continue to manifest and reap the experience and the benefits of your trust.
Right. Which leads me to the next thing I want to ask you.
Okay.
Our unfoldment, if that's what you
All right.
call it, is going to progress regardless of our conscious understanding of it.
In a sense, yes.
What do you mean in a sense?
You can choose to create a scenario in which it seems you are not progressing. But in an overall sense, to the higher self, it is still learning something. So in that sense, it is still progress. You follow me?
But I want to... Thank you. Our path of enlightenment,
Yes.
pretty much, could you say it's on automatic?
Yes.
Okay.
This entire idea of knowing that is allowing yourself to become aware of the fact that you have never been off your path.
Okay. So, in that sense, interaction with your higher self,
Yes.
I don't even know how to say this.
Interaction with your higher self is the degree to which your physiological consciousness is willing to trust that the life it is experiencing is the result of the choice made by the higher self to have this experience, and you can trust that everything you are doing fits into the path you chose to be.
Right.
More even, it is not that you are on the path, it is that you are a path. And as we have said, you cannot be off yourself.
level to accelerate your growth, so to speak,
Yes.
would actually be a result of pre-planning?
Not really. It can be spontaneous. Living in the moment, you can create the illusion that it is pre-planned. But even the idea of creating a pre-planning is a spontaneous creation. You are always in the now moment, always new. You are always creating spontaneously in that way, whether you are believing that it is a plan that allows you to do so or not.
But we did make a plan before we came here, correct?
Only in the most general terms. As we have discussed, there are two types of free will, the free will of the higher consciousness and the free will of your physiological consciousness. The free will of the higher consciousness determines the general concepts you would explore in physical life. And to the physical consciousness, those general terms will seem like destiny or predestination. But they are only in the most general terms. The methodologies, all of the ways as to how to experience those general concepts is up to the creation of the physiological consciousness here in physical life, and you may do it in any way, shape, or form you desire to. As the analogy we have used, the higher consciousness will determine that you will walk down a hallway in this life, but it is only that general. How you walk down a hallway is up to the physiological consciousness to create spontaneously in whatever way it chooses to create it. Whether you decide to plan to walk down the hallway or simply walk down it, encountering what you will spontaneously, automatically, synchronistically. Whether you run, whether you go backwards, whether you turn out the light, whether you crawl, whether you swim, whether you stick to the ceiling, it is up to you. The idea is that you will go down that hallway. How you go down it is up to your choice here as the physiological free will consciousness. Because to the higher self, it is all learning. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. You.
Me?
Yes, then you.
You were telling me, I was telling you about how I feel that I need to have a car and some place to live.
Yes.
Some kind of an activity. You were telling me not really. So
Maybe.
Maybe. I was wondering, does that mean that it's counterproductive for me to look? And
No.
I should just trust that something will turn up?
It is not counterproductive, for you can utilize the experience to create the idea of excitement, but do not put expectation that it must manifest in the way you think it should. The idea simply is, in that way, when you allow yourself to focus on what it is you truly want to do, then your energy will draw along with it all of the things that need to get you there. And if a car is one of them, you will draw it right along, automatically. The idea simply is that if you want the car, primarily because you think you need a car to do something else that actually represents where you are most excited, then the idea of focusing on the car is not putting your excitement where you know it belongs. You follow me? Then you are diverting yourself. You follow me?
I created a symbol for myself where I'm staying with my friend, and she gave me a key of the house that would not work.
All right.
I went around the back of the house, and it turned out she had left one of her doors unlocked, and I got in the back.
There you are.
So I thought that...
An expression that there are many doors through which these opportunities can come, not the one you expect to go through.
Well, I thought that that was a symbol to me that anything that I try to do is not the right thing.
So you have chosen to look at the neutral situation negatively, and I have chosen to look at it positively.
Well, it was more not like a negative sort of a thing to me, but just that...
When you say not right, in your language, that means negative.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
It was more an expression to me that trying to do it in the direct way that, like our civilization would go out and get the yellow pages or get a newspaper and then start looking.
That is not to say that cannot work if that is what is a reflection of the way you believe it will work. But understand, all we are suggesting is that there are many other ways it can work. Do the one that is reflective of the way you believe it can. And it will. If you know that looking through your yellow pages is not for you, then trust that your imagination will do its job and provide for you the methodology that is attuned to your vibration. Follow it. That is the alternate doorway that you can go through. You understand? Are you sure?
I'm never sure until I try to apply and see what happens.
I see. May we remind you that the idea is that believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. You follow me? Thank you. Now, one more reminder. Trying is doing trying, not doing the thing you are trying to do. All right? And all the trying is not what will allow you to do that thing. Doing it is what will allow you to do it. And though you may think that all the trying you have been doing is what ultimately allows you to do it, in a sense that is not so. You have been utilizing that time to allow yourself to become willing to simply do it. You follow me? Thank you very much. Yes? Then you. Yes?
Bashar,
Yes! Well!
I've been having a lot of fun lately with,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, it's been fun.
Ben?
It still is.
Oh, thank you.
With, food.
Food!
I've been like,
Another one. All right. Fun with food. Go ahead. You want that for your title today?
The boys and Mary and this.
Continue.
I've been eating and finding out about new kinds of food to make and dancing. And a couple other things, but that's amazing.
Different ways to sustain yourself, all right?
Different ways to sustain, whatever.
Okay.
And what? This all fits in together. The really big thing is, I really like to dance. I spend a lot of my time dancing.
Right.
And today, my knees hurt. And like what I really wanted to do, like what was really exciting, was to turn on the radio and dance.
All right.
And then, what I really wanted to do tonight is I wanted to forge and go country and western dancing and take dance lessons.
Right.
But I know if I do that, I'm going to hurt my knees because I hurt them doing too much jump roping about a month ago, and then I got a commission for dancers in 3 weeks now. A little bit bored. But
Is that because you have not allowed yourself to recognize an opportunity to do something else?
I don't want to do anything else. It's like,
All right.
I mean, I do. I mean, there's other things that when I had the break,
Okay.
there was other things that I got into the food thing, which is really fun because I
All
can
right.
But
Are your knees hurting now?
yeah,
All right.
just a little,
Just a little.
just a little.
Then dance a little. And stop.
Okay.
Now, again, allow your physical reality to be an obvious reflection of what you are choosing to show yourself about some portion of your personality, of your identity, of your consciousness. Is there many other ways that this idea, this symbology can serve you? Has your imagination given you any other ideas about why you have created that particular symbol?
Well, one, but I didn't really like it. It's like,
So?
well, so I didn't like it.
So what? What was it?
But what it was is I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing so much dancing. But then on the other hand, I go, yeah, but that's what I want to do. It seems kind of contradictory. You know, like I feel like, well, maybe this is time.
May I ask you a question? Why do you dance?
Because it's fun.
And why else?
I like interacting with the people.
All right.
I enjoy the people a lot. I'm learning things about hanging around a whole different type of people, and I like, physically it feels good. I like being able to move my body with music.
All right.
I love country and western music.
Is there any aspect about what the dancing has allowed you to discover that you do not like?
No.
All right. Now, may I ask you another question? How would you feel if you never danced again?
Well, I don't think I'd like that.
Why not?
Well, because I finally found a dance partner. No. No, I mean, I'm sure it would work out fine because if I never danced again, it would just lead me on to some other opportunity. But right now, it's like I'm getting good at this one particular dance and I want to continue.
Have you interacted with anyone about what you would call physiological therapy for your niece?
No, I didn't really know who to turn to that kind of thing.
There may be some beings here that could suggest something for you.
Can somebody suggest something?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess we use suggestions in the after.
All right, now, understand this. What they will suggest is a description of a process that you are creating. It may not even be so much that you must go to the completion of their suggestion, but that taking them up on that suggestion and pursuing that particular idea may lead you to an understanding and a discovery about something that will relate to your dancing that you can utilize.
Yeah.
You see, in this way, there is no need to fight the idea that you must force yourself through your so-called adversity to continue to dance. Allow yourself to have given yourself a symbol, to make the associations relative to what you are creating for yourself, and to seek out sharing with other individuals in other ways other than the dancing that can enhance the dancing.
Yeah. Okay, well, I wanted to ask you one more thing. This kind of fits in with the food answer.
All right.
I changed my diet dramatically, and it really feels good. And I like the kind of food I'm eating. I really like it.
All right.
It's real. I mean, I made some great cornbread tonight.
All right.
Very good cornbread. It was delicious.
Did you bring enough for everybody?
I ate all of it. I shared some with some people at my house that made it.
She is sharing it right now.
Oh, it was good. And I found my cornbread and then
All right. And?
Okay. So I was feeling I had a bit of a vitamin deficiency, and I wasn't going to ask anybody what they thought or get checked out on that, because I thought if I follow what I feel like eating and what seems right, that, I would come across it.
Yes.
And I didn't know if it had anything to do with my knees, like maybe
Yes.
I should weak, and my fingers, like, have been dry
Yes.
for about a month.
Yes.
The lotion doesn't work.
No.
And I wondered if you perceive any particular vitamin or mineral which is like something big.
Have you completely excised what you call dairy products from your diet?
Not completely, but that's something I've been doing. I've been cutting out the butter and the cheese. Today I had butter on my cornbread. But for the most part, that's a big change.
Our perception is that it does have something to do with that. At the same time, we also find that our self-imposed restriction upon allowing information to come out that would be an interference in your process is in effect, which means you are supposed to talk to someone else.
Okay.
Talking to that someone else will be a part of the path you have chosen to be, for you will learn something else from them other than just the dietary idea.
They might be a dance teacher.
Would be.
Or anything.
Yes.
But when you were saying that thing about dairy, were you in any way implying that I perhaps do need more of that, or I don't? Or were you just saying...
Perhaps there is a possibility of what you call calcium or something close to the idea.
That I would need more of?
Maybe. Our self-imposed limitation is allowing this for us to be extremely sketchy.
Okay, yeah, because I had a feeling about calcium, but I didn't want it from the dairy stuff, so I didn't want the green stuff.
There is some other sources you can allow yourself to draw from.
Can you tell me one?
That is not our position, but the position of the other individual. That is the specifics we cannot share.
Oh, I see the other individual right now. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'm done. What's all?
You. Then you. Then you.
So the rest of the talk. I have a couple questions. One is about 3 or 4 months ago, I experienced an out-of-body experience that I remember very vivid.
All right.
And I, in fact, have to admit I enjoyed it tremendously and...
What is wrong with that?
And did not wish to get.
All right.
And
You obviously made the choice to come back. Here you are.
Of course.
All right. Recognize that is true. Of course. Of course. All right.
And when I was in the experience, there was a figure coming in, and it was like we were going to start talking.
Yes.
And the next thing I know, I'm back in bed.
Yes.
Okay? And when I had asked later about that experience, why did I have to leave?
Because the conversation was done.
Well, what I had gotten was that my body was in danger.
Yes and no.
And I was surprised by that. So I wanted to ask.
Only in the sense that you are recognizing, as was part of the purpose of the conversation, that you had that fear within you. That was the only danger. The recognition of that fear, in a sense, is what pulled you back, but that was also the purpose of the conversation, to let you know you had it. You follow me?
Kinda, yeah.
You gave yourself the opportunity to discover, through that conversation and through the returning, that you are dealing with ideas connected to fearing to be in physical reality for many different reasons. Feeling that physical reality somehow is more of a burden than the idea of the spirit world. You follow me?
Yes.
Now, in this way, recognize, as long as you make that differentiation, that is what allows it for you to be, perhaps, difficult to face the idea of coming back, but that is what makes it imperative to come back. You have chosen to be here for many different reasons. Allow yourself the opportunity to recognize you knew what you were doing when you made that choice. And you still do know what you are doing. And also, physical reality and spiritual reality are only different, not better and worse than each other. You are a spirit right now, right here, in physical terms. You follow me?
That is true.
One of the ideas in the conversation also was to begin to remove the differentiation between the created levels you have made in your consciousness. So that by recognizing yourself as one consciousness, you can easily blend, in a sense, back and forth between the physical and the dream reality and begin to live your dreams.
Yes.
In a constant dream, constantly awake.
Yes. Thank you on that.
Thank you.
I have another question, and that is, one of my masters, well, I've been told my master name is Asatun, and I'm also channeling an energy called Atuna.
Sound fishy to you?
I picked up on the correlation of the two, and I'd like to ask you about that.
What about it?
Can you tell me anything about it?
Maybe.
Please?
Oh, please will not do it. Make a statement of conviction. What is it to you?
I get a sense that the two, that we are related.
Continue.
And I would like to know more about that. And
Continue.
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Please. Reach into that imagination that is not separate from you. Allow there to be one reality, one dimension of imagination in which all is real. Go ahead.
One of the things I would like to know why am I channeling Atuna? And I understand to teach me a part of myself.
All right.
Okay, and the openness of myself. But,
is that not enough?
I get a sense of more.
Ah, you do?
Yes, sir.
Then describe it. If you get a sense of it, you must know what it is. Otherwise, you would not get a sense of it. What is it? What is the more? Is it being of service?
Yes.
How?
It's serving me, and I am serving. Well, it sounds corny, but I get a sense of.
Corny?
It's opening myself up even more.
Yes.
And allowing me to experience the universe in greater depth.
Yes.
And I still get a sense that somehow a tuna and opposite, it's like they're connected. I mean, I have a block on it, and I've tried.
One moment. A brief word once again about the idea of blocks. A block is not a wall. It is a signpost telling you to move in an unexpected direction. When you judge that that unexpected direction does not fit into the path you think you should be on or stay on, that is when it becomes a wall and seems like a block. To force you left or force you right, to let you know that going left or going right is the way to go straight ahead. Follow the sign. If it says turn here, turn. You are only judging the unexpected. That is all a block is. You are judging the unexpected to not be a part of the path you chose to be. Trust, trust, trust. Follow the direction the sign, the wall, the block points you in.
Which is?
Explore the idea of the block for one. If you find that you are blocked, you are implying that the block is preventing you from taking another step on a path you think you should be walking on. But the block is a part of the path. Go into it and explore it. The block itself is a part of the path.
What I interpret the block as being very close to heart. It's so close to me. It's like hitting me in the solar plexus or whatever.
That is the chakra of your intentions.
Okay.
And the connection to your future self.
Which you're not going to tell me anything about.
We are discussing it. Keep going. This is all predicated upon your willingness to keep walking the path that you are. Then we can share more and more details, but only as long as you keep walking. We are luring you to yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Continue.
One of the things I've gotten about Altoona was that I was being prepared
Yes.
for a stronger entity.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Continue.
And I wanted to know more about that. And
You will, obviously.
Yes.
As we have said, you are creating your own destiny. Dates with destiny are always on time. You will not miss them. You will know everything you need to know in any given moment to allow you to function by definition within the agreement you have made. Otherwise, what's the purpose?
Well, one of the things is that I only channel Altoona with very close friends.
So?
Because of the vulnerability of channeling.
Ah, vulnerability! That means weakness?
No, means friends.
Very good.
And I am just a baby in the sense of taking the first step in channeling. Okay?
All right.
And to do it in a massive number of people would not make me feel too good at this point.
All right.
But I have been told that
You understand, of course, that you are, in a sense, channeling right now with a lot of people around.
Yes, and I feel very vulnerable.
Which means you feel very strong.
Yeah. I don't feel weak on it.
All right, very good. You are open, and that degree of willingness and that openness is what will allow you to know you are preparing yourself perfectly for the degree of energy that you will be experiencing later. Once the idea of your own higher self, Altoona, in that way, becomes more familiar to you.
One of the things I wanted to ask was, I've gotten that Altoona was an Eastern ruler type entity.
In a sense.
Yeah, well, I had gotten it was like one of his past lives, and we've been connected on that. But I just want to know a little bit more.
You are more closely connected than you think. You are the same energy.
And what about Altoona?
Understand, you are creating a differentiation in one consciousness.
Then is Altoona my higher self?
Yes.
Is Altoona my higher self?
In a sense. It represents the idea of a blending of an oversoul, a higher self, and a future self. When you bring those three ideas concurrent within your physiological consciousness through your willingness to be comfortable within your vulnerability, then you will be prepared for the stronger energy.
Which is all of me. Or,
And a connection to something you would recognize to be other consciousness.
okay.
Which will have connections to some degree to the idea of the past and also the future, if you wish.
Yeah, okay.
Understand that what we are saying to you right now is our perception of what needs to be said to allow you to continue in the way that represents the way you have chosen to continue. When you make differences in the idea that you are to yourself, there may be other representations we can make that will make more sense to the new you become.
When will the new you find? When will the new me finally exist?
That is up to you. You are always a new you. You are a new you right now, right now, right now, right now. The definition you give to that new you will determine what that new you is able to experience. Your choice. One moment is not connected to the next. The present is not a result of the past.
Moments of this opportunity.
Yes. And you are always complete in every moment by definition, or you would not exist.
One more question, if I may. I have a problem.
A what?
And that is...
all right. I will remind each and every one of you, whether or not you have heard it before, that I am becoming selectively third density deaf. And in this way, the idea of choosing certain terminology, which only has the vibration of reinforcing your inability to change the situation that is easily changed, will be something I will usually call out. To us, the idea you call a problem is simply a situation you will not allow to change shape.
Yeah, okay.
The word problem and the word habit, you are giving those words the power that says this means it is difficult to change. It is your formula. Change your definition. You are creating a situation. Situations can change more easily than problems can. So you have a situation.
Yes. No, it's good. Thank you. I have a situation that my dog is going deaf and blind, and she has bitten, my father and a few other people. Broke my shin.
Right.
And when I did
more exploration of vulnerability. More exploration of the idea of the fear that as you explore, dogs in your society represent service. As you explore the idea of becoming vulnerable, therefore stronger within strength, but because you are exploring some of the idea within judgment and fear, you are assuming that as you cut off your physiological senses in a way to explore the idea of your inner awareness, that you will miss the mark. That you will be of service negatively rather than positively.
Yeah.
That you might in that way bite the hand that feeds you. But you do not have to worry about that idea. The animal is giving you an opportunity to explore all of these ideas, and explore them you will, whether you explore it consciously or not. And you will integrate that understanding, that symbol, that lesson from that loving animal consciousness in perfect timing to be able to incorporate that within your service. So you will always be precisely in that way valid and on the mark as you need to. Whether or not you are in connection with the same reality perceptually that you were to begin with or not. You will be in connection exactly as you need to be. You will be perceptive.
And I feel very torn in my heart.
Torn in your heart?
Well, it pains me.
Why?
Because my feeling is that I have to put my dog to sleep. And
maybe.
Well,
maybe not.
Hopefully not, but
there is no hope about it.
Well,
Understand the dog is willing to provide a symbol for you so that you can grow. The idea may be that if the dog co-creates with you the idea of being put to sleep, perhaps your fears will also be laid to rest. It is up to you. Not that it has to happen that way. But in this way, recognize if it does, it is an act of love on the part of the dog. And it will only increase your joy. Therefore, allow it to be an act of love, and you will not be saddened, but joyful. You follow me? Not yet. All right. Sleep on
getting
it.
there. Wow.
Sleep on it.
Yeah.
You may all. Then we will come back to you and you take a short break.
Thank you.
How's everything going? I don't say. Continue.
Yes, first I wanted to share something. When I'm meditating, I like to imagine connecting with my higher self
Nice.
and also other entities and other aspects of higher self.
Nice.
And I used to use an image that was very linear, like a hierarchy.
All right.
And I decided that I don't like it because it's two-dimensional, and what came to me was to visualize it as a spiral.
All right.
And that was really lovely.
Well, thank you.
I have two questions.
Nice.
One is, the other night I had, last night I had a dream, which is very different from most of the dreams that I have.
Well, now that you are more holographic than linear, that is to be expected.
Anyway, I don't have a sense of what, I don't really understand the dream.
Yes. Understand in this way, first of all, as I have said, one of the things that can occur when you are more, so to speak, deeply into the dream reality than usual, will be that when you wake up physically and create a dream symbol by which to remember the experience, if it is very unlike your physical reality, the experience that you had, then your physical ego structure will not have as many symbols to draw from as usual, and it will use the symbols that are closest to represent the experience. It will do the best it can. Otherwise, in this way, simply recognize that, therefore, the dreams, in a sense, that sometimes will make the least amount of sense physically, are representative of experiences that were more deeply non-physical, and for which there is no physical analogy. You follow me?
Right. Well, I guess more than the physical aspects of the dream, which were unusual,
Right.
there was a quality of the dream that I didn't like.
Such as?
Well, in the dream, I'm in parties or in a different civilization, and the people that are my parents and myself included, I
Right.
am not familiar with as myself. It is not as if, like in dreams that I have now, even if my mother in my dream looks physically different, I can still tell
Right.
it's my mother.
Right.
This is not, in this dream I had dreams of other mothers, other fathers, and other brothers.
Right, so?
Okay. The aspect that's physically different is that I'm in two parties at the same time.
Right.
And that I am split, where in one party I am physically there as well as I feel more there.
All right.
In the other party that I'm attending, the one I feel most at is my parents' party. The other party I feel there physically, but not there fully.
All right.
And it's like a physical plane of glass, or, well, anyway, that's how I
Yes.
see it.
Yes.
It separates the two.
All right. Very good.
Although that's not how I experience the being in those two parties.
Okay.
but the quality I didn't like is that I attended the second party because there was a woman there who loved me or was in love with me.
Yes.
And I wanted to experience my power over her.
All right.
And that...
So now you know you do not prefer to go to that party anymore.
Right.
So you are giving yourself the holographic simultaneous representation of the transition from third to fourth density through the membrane, the window through which you can see, but that is the separation of the two densities.
I'm not sure I follow that.
You understand the idea of third and fourth density.
Well, yes, I do understand.
Then in this way, you are simply recognizing that all of the different reasons that you have explored in third density about judgment and domination is no longer representative of the party you wish to attend. And that relationships can be formed within unconditional love and recognition of the different portions of yourself. And self-empowerment so that you can enjoy yourself without having in this way to force yourself upon anyone to get that sense of power, because it is already there. You follow me?
So I guess, yes, I follow that, but my question is,
Yes.
or at least I'm not sure that I fully understand why I had an image of myself being in a situation where I wanted power over something. Are you saying that I have the choice now, or that I've already made the choice to move into?
Yes, you have made the choice. And you are simply using as an analogy the reflection that the entire idea of third density was to explore the idea of separation and judgment. You follow me?
Okay, so...
And expressing your power by domination as opposed to integration. That has been the whole idea of your third density reality.
Then I guess I don't understand another aspect of the dream in which at my parents' party,
Yes.
there were, it seemed as though my parents and my brother, all three of the people were sick.
All right.
And my mother walked through the living room,
Right.
and she was speaking to my father, who I could not see, and she said to him, I'm not going to be wearing the classic mask that I usually wear.
Right.
And there's only been two other occasions, she reminds him, there's only been two other occasions in their marriage where she has slept with him without this mask, without this separation.
All right.
And then she walks through a wall, which is unusual to me.
Not really. Again, it is still an exemplification of the idea that when you choose to nurture yourself, your own motherhood towards yourself, within the idea of forming relationships that are direct and open and honest, and in this way not dominations over another, which is only the showing of a mask and not your true self, because you are afraid to show your true self, the vulnerability that is strength. When you show the true self and gain the strength of that vulnerability, and the relationship is direct and one-to-one in that way, you will walk through any wall. There will be no barriers. You will proceed. And all those portions of yourself that you may have formed relationships with that seem to be withering or atrophying will be reestablished as solid relationships. You follow me?
Yes, that's all it is. I'm very much relieved that it seems like it's a negative dream to me.
Understand in this way simply, any opportunity to view an idea like that is an opportunity to recognize you have already worked through the idea. Otherwise you would not have the recognition.
I guess in the dream I didn't feel as though I had chosen one party over the other.
No. You do not know what you felt in the dream.
That's true.
You follow me?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your sharing and your willingness to love all facets of your being.
I had one more.
All right.
Also in my dreams recently, I've been experiencing a phenomenon where it feels like I have memories within the dream.
In a sense, you are memories in a dream. all in the present. Again, it is the idea of being holographic. That you contain all the information simultaneously, that you need to contain to represent any particular projection of yourself into any particular time frame. You are seeing the overlapping idea of all that you have ever been, or ever will be, and are now, simultaneously.
So then that the memories that I sort of perceive in those dreams are just an expression of that holographic.
It is your opportunity to see the multidimensional, multi-layered aspects of yourself, all existing simultaneously.
I have one last question.
All right.
The other night, the man that I live with, Joseph, woke up, and he was like screaming from a dream that he was having a nightmare. And ever since that night, I have, it's like, he fell right back to sleep. He doesn't remember any of the content of that dream or anything. I laid awake in a lot of anxiety.
And you did not even have the nightmare?
No. And it felt to me as though, now I know this isn't accurate, but it's the way it felt to me as though he had
Then it is valid. Continue.
as if he had ripped part of my protection from the astral world.
Rip your protection from the astral world?
Well, I just feel like there's more anxiety in my life.
There is more energy in your life. Creative, that you are judging, which is what makes it anxiety. Excitement and anxiety is the same energy. You follow me? And you do not need protection. You follow me?
Yes.
So what has been removed is the veil of your supposition.
You mean the veil, the supposition that I needed protection?
Yes.
Okay.
So you are now raw and exposed to your own power. You follow me? As I said, thank you for your willingness to experience that acceleration. Venue. The universe is made of love. You're not supposed to do anything. Because the universe is unconditional love. Unconditional love. Now, the idea that you are expressing simply is that when you recognize that you are made of love and exist in your natural state, then you will live in a universe of love. It is not that you are supposed to do anything, but that is your choice to recognize that you are love itself, and therefore everything you do is an act of love. When you allow yourself to consciously realize that, your life will be filled with that love and reflection of that unconditional love and light and trust. Follow me. It is simply in this way, not that we did not try when we said that we did, but also recognize it was not for the same reasons, and the original definition of our society is different than yours. You are simply assuming that all societies go through the same paces, and they do not. No. Understand, to recognize that you are made of love, in a sense, is not really a goal, it is a state of being. Goals are immediate things, time-oriented things, spatially oriented things, consciousness-oriented things. They are perceptions. They are perspectives. That is all goals are, points of view. In this way, simply recognize that many different individuals and civilizations can express the love that they are in many different ways. I understand what you mean in a time linear sense. And in a sense, that is something that is occurring within creation, but it is not something that will ever end. You follow me? You can recognize yourself as a loving being and recognize that you can choose to be negative. And if you recognize yourself as a loving being, knowing that you are completely self-empowered to create anything you want without having to be negative, it is up to you to choose whether you prefer to be negative or not. You do. The universe does not know. You do. You have created the universe. You've owned it. All that is the universe. In a sense, it is existence itself. You have created your specific version of the universe experientially. Judgment exists within your particular manifested universe. It does not exist within ours as a manifestable thing. It exists as a potential. Anyone can create a universe in which they can allow themselves to judge. We have simply chosen to do otherwise, as you are now choosing to do otherwise. You hold it. Will that have answered your question? Thank you. Yes?
Yes. I have a situation in my life that up to this point I have not allowed to stay in.
All right. How is it serving you then? If you enjoy it so much.
I do not enjoy it.
All right. What is it doing for you?
Giving time to do other things.
All right. Then it is serving you, yes?
Well, I was actually preferring the other things which I have not allowed to manifest.
What other things?
Well, my phone seems to have disappeared.
Disappeared?
It doesn't, I'm not channeling. I don't.
You are?
No.
Of course you are. What do you think you're doing right now?
I don't mean this one.
Oh. Oh, this is not good enough. What kind do you mean?
Well, I'm talking about.
All right. Why do you prefer that kind over this kind? You don't know. Then how do you know you prefer it? Excites you. All right. What does your excitement indicate in your imagination for you to do? Well, any pictures, any feelings? Do not judge them. Oh, that's silly. Anything at all. What is the first thing that comes? Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Well?
Let it go for a while.
All right. Let it go for a while.
Yeah.
All right. And in letting it go, you will enjoy the life you are living in the meantime, yes? For it is equal to anything else you could be doing, yes? Then understand that enjoying life is a part of the process of the channel. You are not being interrupted. You can't be interrupted. You follow me?
So the higher consciousness thing is just adding ingredients, is that it?
It is regulating what will allow you to be comfortable with the channeling, so you will not feel disoriented in a negative way. All right? You will give yourself the polarity stability to create channeling, which will connect you to many other ideas, and the enjoyment of your life here, which will, in a sense, ground you in your terms, so that you can function. Otherwise, what would be the point? You follow me? Now, are there other things in your life that you would desire to do that you are not doing?
Not a little invincible.
All the little preventative. Do any of them excite you at all? A little bit.
I place more importance on other things.
All right. Do you place more importance on those other things because they excite you, or simply because you place more importance upon them?
No, what I'm saying is, the channeling is actually the thing that is more important to me.
That excites you the most. All right. Then understand first and foremost that if that is true for you, you are always channeling in exactly the way you need to. You follow me? Sometimes channeling is for you. All right? So that you will be able to channel for others. Thank you. You. Thank you.
Bashar, have you personally experienced the degree of limitation and separation that we have?
In my present incorporation? Or do you mean as my past self that you recognize to be the physical channel before you? All right. Thank you. Yay. Hi.
Seeing each other being separate and all of that, but also
Yes.
since there are these different densities and there are beings in different star systems and on different stars and different planets, we are, as societies or civilizations, separate from each other.
Yes.
Even in that.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you to talk about why we have this separation if we are indeed the same thing.
So that you can create the exploration of a specific idea.
Didn't we create the exploration of this the different ideas we were all experiencing the same density at the same time?
If you cannot forget that you are the creator of your reality, how can you experience a reality in which you seem to be limited? All right. But that is the general idea. You have chosen to experience what it is like to be limited. And you can create that kind of differentiation because you are the creator of your reality. So you can pretend to forget. So that for a while you can see what it is like to not know who you are. That is the basic reason for all of the differences. Because all of the differences are all the different ways all that is has of experiencing itself. Simply because it can. It doesn't need any more reason than that. Thank you! Yes.
We've been talking about a lot of people's experiences within their living space this evening. I have a question relating to that. One thing that I've dealt with in my apartment has been the development of energy that I realize is a personal reflection of myself. However, other people are also experiencing it with different results. And I realized that was also a way to accelerate the process of growth for everyone involved. My question is, when people are experiencing what they perceive as negative energy because of the strength of the energy that's in place, at what point do I differentiate between my own personal reflection?
You are not experiencing negative energy because of the strength of the energy, but because of your viewpoint of the energy.
Right.
All right.
Well, I'm finding that personally, I'm dealing with that, and I understand that if I perceive it as negative, that's my own creation.
Right.
Because I can variously experience it as a real energizing energy or negative, depending on how I choose to experience it.
You can still allow yourself to recognize energy that is being expressed negatively, and simply let the fact that you can recognize it care of you positively whether or not the initial energy changes itself.
Okay. My let's say not a problem. Let's say my concern is
Same thing.
Yeah, it could happen. It's been for other people who experience it and have had more extreme reactions. In that, initially, what happened to make me quite aware of the energy in that specific state was a friend noticing an energy enter the room,
right,
and something attempted to channel through him spontaneously, where he felt not in any way prepared for the experience and became hysterical.
All right. And did it stop?
Only after about 2 hours of conscious attempt to remove that from the physical state.
All right. Why did they choose to believe that they must go through that experience in such a struggle?
That's something for that person to work out, obviously.
Correct.
At the same time, other people who have been, let's say, on the spiritual path and rather sensitive have had similar types of reactions in terms of extreme fear when entering my apartment. Now, I don't necessarily create that type of reality in every state that I deal with these people, and I'm wondering at what point is my own energy involved, or their energy, or any earth-related energy specific.
It is all, in a sense, part and parcel of the same thing, for what you are doing is assuming that you are giving them an opportunity to look at portions of themselves that they fear. That is the kind of hotel you are running. Come to the Fear Hotel. Every room guaranteed to reflect a portion of yourself. You'll be terrified. So all individuals who wish to have the type of vacation where they want to experience a portion of themselves in fear, come here. For I am willing to co-generate with you that type of energy so that you will know on some level that when you come and interact with that energy and experience your fear, you are doing it in a safe place. Follow me.
My personal concern in this level of reality is in the practical aspect of people becoming reluctant to
then you can become the type of host that has the willingness and the conviction to explore the idea with them in a way that will allow them to know that fear is only a messenger, bringing them another portion of themselves, so that they do not have to experience it negatively any longer. And then entice them with the possibility that once they make a friend of their fear in that way, and know they are choosing to experience themselves in that way, then when they step into that energy you are co-creating, they will not experience fear, but the power of their own creative self. All right.
With that as a goal in mind,
the Hall of Mirrors.
I think I'm coming to that realization.
All right.
I'd like to have perhaps some more specific information about the nature of some of the energies as they might be manifesting themselves.
The nature of them?
Whether they relate specifically to the individuals who experience them.
Of course they do.
Well, let's get specific to the one that actually materialized in the form of a woman coming into the room.
All right.
This was in December of last year.
You have created the type of atmosphere that is not unlike what we have created on our planet, that allows other individuals to project their consciousness and wrap themselves in a projection of our bodily forms in order to experience our reality. You have created a type of atmosphere that allows individuals who visit you to project portions of their own consciousness into the type of materiality or spirit forms that need to be reflected to them to let them see those portions of themselves in no uncertain terms.
Which is why I don't see the same thing as they do.
Correct. One moment. In a sense, let us say, it is a, to use your terminology, more specifically controlled and purposely applied and more solidified manifestation of what you normally refer to in a more uncontrolled manifestation as a poltergeist phenomenon. 99.9% of which comes from the people involved in the situation themselves, that have, in a sense, the notion of excess energy they don't know what to do with, are afraid to face.
In the same situation, the first person experienced a lot of agitation, which is obvious, and the woman who was manifested, I described the situation to my neighbors, and they said, "Oh, you met Nina."
All right.
Well, it turned out that someone who lived in the apartment.
We are not saying that it does not have its own consciousness as well.
Okay.
But that is the purpose of the energy and the consciousness. It is a way station that has the atmosphere that will attract those who can utilize it to look at those fragments and facets of themselves in that way. Whether they choose to generalize it in the form of the consciousness as it has always represented itself on its own terms is up to them. Depends on what they are willing to face. Recognize that no matter what the form is, what it brings is self-reflection.
I was really curious about...
Merely?
Yes, merely.
Merely?
There's some synchronicity between one person's experience and the next.
Yes, of course.
Who felt that, having been told who this person was by the neighbors, the next person who showed up panting and white-faced at my door said someone's been murdered out here. At the same time that the neighbors had explained that someone had been murdered in that area.
All right.
And I'm wondering if there is indeed a specific connection between that manifestation of the energy as different people who had not discussed the situation experienced.
Yes. In this way, again, recognize the idea is this. That particular consciousness is, in and of itself, expressing a form of entrapment. It is not moving on. And anyone who partakes of that energy is going to meet the portion of themselves that feels trapped. It is the expression that if you have, in that sense, refused to face a portion of yourself in that way, you have buried it, you have killed it, you have murdered it. It is in between being able to function and going on. Understand in that way, the original purpose for what you now call an exorcist to be was, in a sense, a spirit psychologist. To allow them to know they did not have to remain within the attachments they had formed within physical life and could move on. You follow me?
Yes.
Therefore, that consciousness and all who find themselves attracted to it are choosing to experience those portions of themselves in a way that will allow themselves, in a sense, to become lost in a maze, in a hall of mirrors. All of these reflections will always show them how they fear they have trapped themselves so they can deal with that idea. It is, in a sense, shock treatment, yes. But that is the way some of you have chosen to do it. And there are spirits who are willing to help, simply because of what they have chosen their situation to be. That spirit, on the level you are perceiving it, may not be any more aware of what it is doing than you are. But another portion of it is. And knows that that portion of itself that is locked into that reality and interacting with you is serving a purpose.
So the dissolution of that type of energy as it is being experienced in common right now is our choice as well.
Understand you will be providing a service, yes, at the same time. For when all those individuals gather together and blend within themselves the love of those portions they now fear, they and you will generate the type of atmosphere that will allow that spirit to be on its way. For you will allow it to wake up, as if it is allowing you to wake up. You follow me? Recognize that many individuals upon your planet choose to be scared into the present. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
You're on.
Okay. I have a couple of things that I want to discuss and want to ask you about. I've been exploring the idea of polarity.
Yes.
And sometimes when I sit in the shower, I think about different things and look at them in different ways. You know, because it's a neat place to do it, isn't it?
Yes.
Today I was looking at the idea of polarity, and I was looking at the idea of exploring the idea of like, for instance, wanting to write something and not having a pen.
Right.
Okay, and the idea is that the not having the pen is manifested, and having the pen is unmanifested, which is like kind of the other side of it.
All right. Same idea as unconscious knowingness and conscious unknowingness.
Okay, and so it's almost like the thing, if you turn not having the pen wrong side out, then you would have the pen. It's sort of that kind of thing. Right?
Wrong side? All right. Go ahead.
But when I took it a step further, and I began to realize that actually this idea of polarity is not quite what we cracked it up to be.
Oh, very good. Continue.
It seemed that the reality of the not having the pen and the reality of having the pen are actually parallel.
In a sense, yes.
And it isn't that you have to have one or the other.
Oh, very good. You are allowing the situation to be neutral.
Yeah, so that was, I just want to share that. It was a new look which I hadn't had before.
A neutral look, yes. Thank you.
Okay, the next thing is, let's share the idea of the higher consciousness and the...
Time's up. Wow, I continue.
It seems the way to be a combination or collection of, for instance, past, present, and future self, and without the time factor.
That is one way to look at it, yes.
Okay, so in effect, that combination is an essence of its own, right?
Yes. Every idea is 100% its own idea.
Right. So it's not so much that is separate from you as quote unquote a higher consciousness and a lower consciousness. It is me in a different framework.
Ah! You have hit the nail squarely on that. That is the entire idea. Thank you so much. Everything that you are, anything that is different at any time from anything you have ever been, is not so much a separate you, but the same you in a different frame of reference. All relative, as I believe one of your scientists said once. Very good. Frames of reference. Thank you.
The other thing is, after I finished my shower, I was drying off my face.
Right.
And I put my hands over my eyes and kind of told them for a moment. It felt really good. And then all of a sudden I saw this sort of a starburst of light, which was a bunch of light geometric things, very geometric. And I've seen this before, and I'm curious about it. That's exactly what it was happening.
Different aspects of your consciousness, somewhat differentiated, but only in generalized terms, in probabilities, in potentials, rather than specifics. In the sense that if you see yourself as being one homogeneous idea, and were to perform the idea of becoming, more specifically, many different things within one, let us say, as an analogy, the first step in the breaking apart of the homogeneousness would be to recognize the crystal lattice work within it. And so the geometric forms by analogy.
And that fits in with the idea of
Yes. 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 Thank you very much. venue.
Have serious questions.
All right.
When is your birthday?
Birthday? In this way, it will not be translatable directly, but the analogy that will suffice will be what you call November 11th. In this way, recognize, again, simply to point out an analogy in the triad. The physical channel, in that sense, is what you call 10-12. Mine is 11-11, and Pipop is 12-10. But that is an arbitrary analogy, but go on.
Okay. What year was that in our time?
Again, as an arbitrary mark, which again is valid from different points of view in different ways, you may simply calculate that in your terminology you may consider me to be approximately 157 of your years.
And you'll be 158 next November?
All right.
Great. Okay. Remember 3 months ago my father died?
Okay.
And I've been feeling him recently, and I've been feeling his energy evolving in a maybe a different way.
Oh, very good. According to how you are also evolving differently now.
Yeah.
So you are creating a reflection in the particular aspect of his consciousness that now reflects the difference in your consciousness, to use it as a measure of how you have changed as well.
That's great. That's really how I feel about it.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
The third question is, my mother has a question that's not answered to the person. And she tried to sell the house where she lives.
Trying.
Yes. Well, she's selling the house.
All right.
And it's not happening.
All right.
I'll start again, okay?
Up to you.
She put a sign outside the door.
All right.
And people are not buying it.
Are you sure she wants to sell it? Are you sure she wants to sell it? Is she sure she wants to sell it?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's her question.
If she has to ask.
Well, she wanted to know why she was selling, and I told her what it is. Maybe you don't want to. And then she told me 3 times that yes, she didn't want to sell. She's really ready to sell it. So she wants to know.
When she sells it,
Yeah.
where is she going to go?
Well, she doesn't know yet.
Uh-huh.
But she knows she wants to move quickly. She wants to go like from west to west.
Then when she allows herself to recognize that the move is already made, the house will be sold.
Okay.
Allow her to believe she does know where she wants to go, at least in essence.
Yeah. Well, it's not a situation for her to like know where she's going to go. She's just kind of willing to sell the house.
Right, all right, but she is existing in a very quasi-planar limbo idea in that sense, sitting between 2 houses.
Okay. Great, awesome.
She has not moved in her soul, and so her symbols do not reflect a move. If she knows beyond a shadow of a doubt she has moved, then the symbol of having this house does not need to be there, and it will not be. Bon voyage. Grace. Hello.
I just had a cognition that the women is talking about the symbol. We're talking about the symbols and to close their eyes.
Yes.
And those symbols are reflected in the symbolic language of Indian design.
Yes.
American Indian design.
Yes.
Okay.
Because in this way, it is our perception that what you call American Indian culture knows it exists on many different levels at once, and it is experientially real to them, for them, all those different ideas. Oh, yes. We have discussed the idea of the Katrina energy many times.
Yes, the reflection of the people in the universe.
Yes.
Like the planets, and so like the mudhead, which is the red planet that's happening. And what I was
Hayoka.
The Hayoka, yes. Now, what I wanted to ask you about, you know the power spots that the people have in different areas.
Yes.
The mountains
Yes.
and the sacred spots.
Yes.
Well,
The vortices.
Yes. Well, right now there's a power spot that's being taken over by energy companies on the big mountain on the Navajo Hopi reservation area.
Ah,
You know this spot?
one moment. Understand in this way that the idea is for those people to allow themselves to remember who they are. For when they allow themselves to believe that they are who they are, then they will remember. For when they allow themselves to believe that they are who they are, then they will remember, as they used to know, that nothing that is yours, that is you, can be taken from you. Who tell them they are not who they know they are. And so they are afraid. They are believing in the society that has created the idea of loss. They are beginning to agree that they also believe something can be lost. They are not behaving as the society they know themselves to be by believing they can lose something. You follow me?
Yes.
Let them know and let yourself know in that way. Also, that all of the energy vortices upon your planet at this time are also opening up and becoming less specific. They are becoming what we refer to as free zones, in the sense that many energies, many dimensions, all dimensions of existence exist within those focal points, and so of course those energy zones are going to attract different points of view for the purpose of allowing all those different points of view to blend, not to fight. You follow me? If they are willing to trust that they know different points of view different from their own, are being attracted by those energy spots for the purpose of blending and not segregating, then the power of their trust is what will go into that energy vortex, and it will have an effect on those that are still choosing to believe that something can be lost and something can be taken. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Understand, in a sense, whether it seems to be on the surface or not, it is the beginnings of what they have always watched for in terms of Pahana. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
The return of the lost brother. The brother is coming on his own terms. But that does not mean he will not stay and join the family. All right? And the Katrina energy is ever present in those vortices. And there are many of the civilization that is attempting to take away that believe, along with your Indians, that all belongs to all in that way. and that there is enough for everyone to partake of in those energy vortices, so that all can recognize they are as powerful as they need to be without having to force their point of view on anyone else to prove it. No.
These energy vortices that we refer to, is there a specific form of them, or do they take many forms depending on what we imagine? For instance, are they spinning rapidly or slowly or any speed, or are they very fine lines in a funnel form, or is it kind of an amorphous form of energy?
They do change shape from time to time in that way, do expand, do change momentum, depending upon what they are reflecting of the gathering of the consciousness within them and around them in that sense. They are quite malleable in many different ways, and they even, in a sense, leak.
In what sense?
In that the general area they may define themselves to be within sometimes in certain areas can extend beyond their own boundaries.
Well, is there kind of an average or usual shape?
It is, in a sense, funnel-like.
Are there lines of energy flow in a helical?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Are these lines fine lines or coarser lines?
They are all vibrations.
Okay. So we'll become a fine line to work.
Yes.
Everywhere
from very, 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 very fine line to a line that describes the entire funnel.
What about speed of rotation?
That changes as well.
Is there an average? In other words, if we were to perceive one, would we see it spinning about the speed that we would see a tornado, or would it be very slow moving? Or
it can be both. And it can be both at the same time. It is a completely perceptive idea. There are individuals who may even see it to be frozen.
Depending on the purpose.
Yes. And the energy of the individual doing the perceiving.
And you could also perceive all of these various forms simultaneously. Various speeds simultaneously.
Yes. You could see an overlap. Like what you call a superimposition.
Yes. Is there some way that we can use these beyond what my current knowledge is of
yes.
what they do?
In this way, you can, now, to some degree, these ideas have been tapped, particularly by the individual we have discussed that you know to be Tesla. So in this way, you can understand that there are frequencies that represent the general flow of energy from vortex to vortex that can be represented by the overall 7 1/2 cycle per second rate of your entire planet, the wavelength. And you can utilize the energy in that way, and you can draw from it power to be used in many ways. You can use the planet to run the civilization and all of its technology, simply on the difference between the levels of energy in any given vortex or between all the different vortices.
I see. And you're suggesting that we could do this technologically?
Yes, it is one way. You can do it with your own consciousness as well, but it can have a technological representation that is, in your terms, non-polluting, natural.
Do you see any energy behind this idea in terms of our future?
Yes.
That's what I think. Can you give us some specific vortex areas in the LA area?
Malibu.
Can you pinpoint it in
Malibu?
Whole place.
Yes.
Any others?
Bashar.
Okay. What effects on our physical structure can we, I don't want to say expect, but I'm going to use the word expect, to perceive if we live in those areas?
There may be, for certain individuals, a propensity to having more crystallized silicon in their bodies. And Perhaps also magnetite, increase in iron, some copper, or a need in that way for some copper to be surrounding the individual or touching the individual in that way to form a conduit and a balance. That will do.
To what effect will these various differences
Again, according to the purpose of the individual.
okay, tell the individualistic.
There is some generalities, but in this way, again, explore them as an individual and you may recognize the commonality.
Thank you.
Thank you. You, then you, then you.
Yes, I have a question for a friend, and I also have something I'd like to share.
All right. Which one first?
Sharing.
All right, thank you.
It has to do with the different aspects of ourselves that we perceive with feeling of fear. And I was lifetime, I've been very, I've had a lot of affinity for all the life forms. There's hardly a life form on the planet that I don't feel some affinity for.
Oh, hardly, all right.
Well, that brings me to spiders. And I have been looking at that idea and exploring this idea for years and years and years, and my fear has diminished and diminished. And lately, I realized that the symbol that I've chosen for myself to represent the idea of fear,
All right.
which gave me a whole new perspective on it. And what's been really fascinating is that recently I went to Hawaii and I had an experience coming up to a friend's door, and there was a spider on it. It was absolutely enormous. It just stopped me right in my tracks. Vivian, you've got to come and look at the spider. It's as big as a Mack truck. And I was so, I felt my fear, and I also realized that I was projecting my fear to that form.
Yeah.
I scared the spider, and he was running off the door.
Reflecting your fear back.
Exactly. And I thought about that for several days, and I got several realizations about that.
Go!
What?
Go.
Yes. So,
The realization.
Yes, what's happening is that I realize that those are different aspects of myself, and what I'm doing is more and more integrating into my reality and admiring them and flowing love to them in affinity and examining them more closely when they come into my space. And what's happening is that every time this happens, my fear is diminishing and the spiders are getting smaller and smaller.
Good.
Until the other day I was out on the deck and there was a little wolf spider and he came hopping over toward me, and I put my book in front of me and I went, back up a little bit, you're getting a little too close, and he cocked his head and looked at me, and there was that little intelligence communicating with me. I was so stunned because I could see that he realized that I was there. He saw me and he communicated.
Right, and he was only carrying on the tradition.
Exactly. So anyway, I communicated with him, and I got his agreement to go off in another direction. The next day.
You are very familiar with Iktomi, eh?
What is it?
Indian.
Oh. Yes.
Iktomi.
What is it?
You may share that later.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I know that that's the Indian.
Spiders also leave the universe.
Yay.
Well,
Yay. Being at the hub of things can be fearful for some of you.
This is wonderful. I had so many realizations, and a couple of days after that, there was a very small little spider, and I carried him out on my hand and just kind of let him go in the bushes. And the next morning, I'm in front of my mirror in the bathroom, and out from the crack comes the teeniest little black spider I've ever seen in my life, and I just started laughing. It was like my fear had gone all the way down to practically nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your question.
Yes. This is for my next removal. She has had a physical sensation that she's trying to cope with, and I told her I would...
Oh, trying to cope. All right.
She doesn't know what's causing it. She feels the physical manifestations, and it's like a pressure, a solidity in her body that's sometimes painful, and she has a lot of concern with it. And I've been sharing some ideas with her, but I wanted to ask you if you could...
Does she feel she's about to burst?
That, I'm not sure, possibly.
Can it simply be her own creative pressure waiting to get out?
I'll offer her that research.
All right. See what she does with that. Tell her to trust her imagination. All right?
Yes.
Thank you. Guys.
I have 4 things.
One.
Do microwave ovens change the makeup of food so that it's not healthy or can't be absorbed by our body?
It is not so much, though there is a cellular change, it is not so much that it is in your terms unhealthy, but perhaps blank.
So we wouldn't get nourishment, as much nourishment from something cooked in a microwave as
In general, you will find that your term of cooking will remove much of the nutrients.
So
Microwave will do the job in a different way. There is something about the way it affects the water in the substance as well that represents ideas which can reflect a usage that you may discover in your future with regard to microwave energy, and also a realization of certain aspects of what it does within your cellular structure in your atmosphere that you may not prefer. We will be able to discuss this some other time, more detailed. Two.
Why did you change your talking? This is an extra one thrown in. Why did you change your talking?
In that way, what you are sensing is the changing of the pulsations of my consciousness in terms of, let us say, for lack of a better term, where I was getting the information from.
Where were you getting it from?
The idea of making a connection to your future mass consciousness.
Interesting. Thank you.
Two.
I've had this pain in my elbow, my left elbow, for about...
Which pain? This pain right here?
It's not isthmus right now.
Oh.
But it keeps coming and going, and it's been there for about 2.5 months. And I'm trying to understand, what I'm showing myself by this pain. But so far, I was wondering if you could give me your perception of this.
Do you enjoy your life?
Oh, sometimes.
Do you feel you have to reach too far for the things you like? Do you feel you are overextending yourself?
Sometimes, yes.
Back up.
What does that mean?
Bring everything within your grasp so you don't have to overextend yourself.
Okay, thanks. And the third thing is, I was out in the jacuzzi on Monday, and the moon was almost directly overhead, and it was totally surrounded by a cloud ring. It was really quite beautiful, and it seemed like there was a lot of love and benevolence in that time.
All right.
I wondered if you could add something.
Simply that you are finding that within all the portions you have created to be sub and unconscious portions of yourself, there is just as much love as what you can create consciously, and you can allow that to blend within liquid harmony within yourself. It is not accidental that you are in water when you are observing the idea of the moon, for it represents the liquidness of your consciousness in that way. And that is why it is represented also in the symbolic form of what you call your tarot card, as having water.
Is everybody like that? Liquidness and consciousness?
Yes. Forward.
Forward. Will you tell us something nice about this?
Now, in this way, recognize you are always being born. Every moment is a new you. You are a constant birth and new creation, an ecstatic explosion of birth. Also, you can recognize that you are eternal as well. And that when you allow yourself to know that you are always being born, you may not choose to continue to keep track of a regularly scheduled recognition. For that will define the structure of the time frame in which you perceive yourself to exist, and you will age. Right on. Now, you can recognize that any moment of time you choose to create the idea of celebration, it does not have to be focused upon the idea of the time frame, but that you are simply celebrating the birth that you always are eternally. All right?
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you to you all. Next. One moment. Go ahead.
I had a question about the planes, the different planes, like after the fourth, the mental plane. What is the plane after that?
There are causals. In this way, you have described astral and etheric and mental and causal planes in that way.
Causal plane is after the mental plane?
To us, this is very arbitrary, and we are finding that they are blending into each other, leaking into each other at this time. We find that there is, in our perception, less propensity to redefine them.
And then also, when you talk about density,
Yes.
does that have any relationship to dimension?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it is all simply a matter of vibration, frequency. The idea of density in your terminology is simply that when you are accelerated, there is more of you consciously present. So you are more dense. Paradoxically, because there is more of your energy there, you are more highly accelerated, so you feel less dense in a physical sense.
Okay. Then I have one question. Since I have an IUD removed, I've had a number of irregularities in my period. 1 month I had like 2 periods in a month.
Yes.
This month I had.
The irregularity is not uncommon for your time framing now, for a great many of you in that way. You are finding again that you are redefining the idea of yourself. And as you accelerate, you may find that it will, in your terms, become even more irregular. For the actual manifestation, as you have created it in that way, does not need to occur in that manner. And will, in your terms, pretty much vanish in force sensitive. There are individuals who experience gaps of what you call 3, 4, 5 months at a time. Also recognize that as you accelerate in that way, as you allow yourself to, in your terms, let us say, rarefy your physicality, You may sustain yourself on less physical sustenance. You may lose body weight, and below a certain percentage of body fat, you will cease to have your period.
So is that the same time when losing potential for labor?
Not really. No. Later on, perhaps, but not right now. And it will not be losing a potential. It will be creating another idea. Thank you. There will be a few moments remaining. Continue. All right. Where? What kind? All right. Any physiological event you can attribute to the pain?
Only once when I was trying to reach my big head, but then it's kind of ready to take me time and it was about a week later. And I didn't move anything.
What type of physiological treatment have you attracted to your health? And anything else? Any other physiological treatment?
No.
There are some others that you may be willing to participate within and see what they do for you in releasing not only your body physiologically but emotionally certain ideas that may be being pent up in that area, holding it out of alignment. Now, not that we in this sense recommend anything over something else, but there are other ideas that do exemplify in your terms a little bit more of the releasing of ideas than what you call strict chiropractic. Heller attempts the idea of what you call your Heller.
Using a power,
Okay.
Yes.
Participate in what you call Heller.
She knows.
Now, recognize again, it is not the physiological manipulation, but it is more akin to the idea of release in many different ways that are attuned to your specific glandular system and organic system, and can allow emotionality to be released at the same time. And if you are willing to deal with it in a sense at the same time and acknowledge and accept it at the same time you are being physically worked upon for that specific purpose, then you can form a blending of the physical and the emotional, the mental and the spiritual in that way, and can unlock yourself all across the board and all the way within. All right? Allow yourself, while undergoing that release, to feel yourself to be filled with blue-white energy, and allow that to be what you breathe into the aura around you and balance your electromagnetic field. Also drink water. All right. See the water balanced by that electromagnetic field until in your imagination it almost becomes liquid crystal. All right. Allow it to reinforce certain areas in your muscular structure, but not in a rigid manner. It is liquid crystal, and always shall remain so that your entire cellular structure will become homogeneous. All right. Then the electromagnetic impulses along your nerve network will flow more freely and in more directions than just the rigid paths described by what you perceive to be your nervous system. And in your brain, the idea will be a homogeneous blending of all the portions, not a differentiation into the idea you call leftness and rightness of hemisphere. You will become one solid, liquid state crystal conductor, in which any type of electromagnetic and electrochemical interaction can define the state of your being at any given moment. All right? Thank you. You are welcome. You, then you. At the beginning.
This is my second visit, and first was about 2 weeks ago. Through friends, and we first did this for 1, but now you have to choose the way it's gone to get
Thank you for changing me. All right.
One thing, thanks to Steve, I think the birds have a sinusitis or whatever, and it's heart palpitations, and first it's your series of tapes, and I found out that's a good omen, and you're getting rid of things, so it's better than you.
You are sensitizing to the shiftings going on, the changes within you and within your planet. Oh, yes. We will, again, be discussing some of that, your 28th, 29th, and 30th. We will be discussing some of the ideas of the shift. Okay.
And one thing I do want to mention to I just probably mentioned about it a few years ago, and fully responsible for everything, whole person, everything that has happened.
Yes.
Entirely for the thing.
You are, in a sense, responsible for everything in your universe. You are responsible to yourself.
That is because I think that everything responsible for everything and everybody.
Ah, yes. You are not responsible for anyone else. You are responsible to them by being responsible for yourself.
So what I did want to talk about 6 years ago, this thing was in the mountain top, I fell up in Lake Tahoe, and I was very kind of curious against the thing visiting, and to begin with, to be able to live with this thing. And the birds and oxygen, basic, and we were on down, that it was going to be incredible. There were about 83 people involved in this particular thing. And it was about 2 months ago, finally, I did meet this particular visit in Washington, D.C. Between 800 and 9 states, and then we said something, we started to look at the university ideas. Simply still good, and the birds, they really understanding the work of them, and we call it system, and we started looking at the unbelievable systems right over there. I was thinking really more about this tonight, and I had it before, and I was just saying what it was. But there's something very unusual about this particular piece of knowing. I have had a concept, and this is almost embarrassing. This is all new to me, about a space.
Not really. You see it landing?
Yes, definitely.
Like this?
And I also see one in the future.
Right.
And I have never discussed this with anyone, and 4 other people that are not related to each other have also voiced the same reality.
Right.
It's kind of unusual, and started making it more real, like we just talked about. And as of 2 weeks ago, and believe me, this is absolutely incredible.
What?
2 weeks ago.
Absolutely what? No, obviously not. It is quite credible, or you would not be talking about it.
The next day after meeting you,
Yes, the ecstatic explosion of coincidence. Synchronicity. Very good. Yes. Yes, you are doing it without effort, with ease of creation. Yes, it seems to be, but you are doing it. Thank you. You know what you are supposed to do. There is nothing that you are supposed to do. Follow your ecstasy. It will always lead you exactly where you need to be. You can be at that landing when it occurs.
Oh.
Follow your ecstasy and allow wherever you are right now to be where you need to be. Do not ignore the life attempting to get to that time in the future, or you will never get there. All right? Do not ignore the life you are living in lieu of attempting to hurry up and get to that point in the future. Otherwise, you will never get there. Living the life you create is what will get you there. Enjoying every moment means you don't need patience. Thank you. If you are enjoying every moment, no need for patience. If you wish. Thank you. Guys.
Are the movements in the Earth, I know you wanted to discuss the shift at a later point, but my question before you mentioned that was, are the movements in the Earth as we see in volcanoes and earthquakes manifestation of mass consciousness?
Of course. And Earth consciousness, which is almost the same thing.
With that in mind, and considering the uranium monsoon event and activity,
right.
Can we expect any... Perhaps in the future, in the limited future, in the next several weeks or so, can we see any reactions on the Earth level?
No comment.
Eventually happen.
The idea that we will be sharing are again presented for the opportunity of recognizing the reasons for all of the symbols you have created in general terms in your civilization to represent to you a reflection that would and is now ultimately allowing you to understand it is always you that has been in control. We extend our appreciation, our unconditional love, and our thanks to you to allow us to experience the gift of sharing that you are, so that we may see that many more ways than all that it has of expressing itself within creation. We thank you for the sharing that continues forever. We bid you exciting and synchronous dream life. We bid you a fond and loving good night.
Good night.